Hey there, you made it to Little Z Farm. Little Z Farm. It started with one adventurous chicken. Do you feel that? Spring is coming. Ugh. Don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna count my chickens before they hatch. Never do that. In Missouri, when you make it through the harshest of winter, you get mud season, which is basically when all the snow melts. Everything turns to a muddy mess, and you're like, it's spring! But no, it's time for third winter, you know? So I know that'll come. I'm not getting too excited, but man, this day. Hi guys. If you are new to our channel, I'm Katie, and my husband and I have Little Z Farm a little bit north of Kansas City. We have chickens and ducks and goats, dogs and cats, and we're kind of in the process of figuring out exactly what we want our futures to look like and exactly what we want to do when it comes to the farm. For the time being, we have these 40 acres and we have kind of, you know, spent the past 5 years very slowly growing. Hi, Paul. But no matter what we do, I think the story of Little Z Farm and how we came to that name and how this came to be is one worth sharing, or at least one that I want to remember. You have to eat by yourself? When Eric and I moved out here, there wasn't this grand plan. You know, Eric and I were both people who kind of had this feeling in life that we wanted something a little bit different for ourselves. And there are a lot of reasons why we moved out here and why we're pursuing, you know, different parts of this life. But I think that's a story for a different day. What I want to talk about today is how we got our name. When we moved out here, we actually had a different name. We didn't really know what to call ourselves. I mean, at the time, we just had a dog and 40 acres. What are you fighting about? Well, it really wasn't long after we moved up here that we got chickens, and that was like this miraculous experience for us. I just thought it was so cool. Like, I could raise this baby and it could grow into something that makes eggs for me. Like, I just go outside and get eggs. Sometimes I'm still shocked that I can do that. Okay, I'm leaving you guys because you're being noisy. Hi, baby. Hi, sweet girl. And Eric and I had this song by Tim McGraw that we were really into at the time because we thought it just reflected like the type of life that we wanted to lead. And that song was called Back in Mama's. The song is really about, you know, like having this place that you can go home to and that is special and time slows down, and it's a beautiful song. I still love it. But there's this particular line in there that says, "We're going for broke, but we're gonna be rich." Okay, am I gonna cry about this? That weird emotion that comes over you, you don't know what it's coming from. Anyway, going for broke, but we're gonna be rich. That really resonated with us, and you know, it kind of symbolized to us like all the things that we are going to do and all the value that we are going to build in our lives that had nothing to do with money. But to start, the name of our place here, of our land, was Going for Broke Ranch. And I loved that name, and I still love that. But we didn't have that name for long, and I'll tell you why. Hi, Miss Rosemary. Hi, baby. You're looking pretty. Excuse me, baby. Hey, hey. These barred rocks, they're funny. You guys are funny. This barred rock gang. They are the nosiest little birds. I just love them. So our chickens started to grow. We kept them first in the brooder, and as they got older, they started adventuring out more. And we had like 3 Buff Orpington, 6 Barred Rocks, and 6 Rhode Island Red chickens. Those were our first chickens. And I really loved our Barred Rocks. Just like these Barred Rocks, they were nosy and sweet, and I loved them. We were like brand new to this whole farming thing, and we had these chickens. We thought it was so fun. At the time, we had like a little housewarming party, and a bunch of people came. It was really nice. Hard to imagine that now, honestly. We wanted to do like a unique thank you to the guests that came to our party. And so I made a Facebook group, and it was a like, thank you for coming, thank you for being part of our lives, and help us name our chickens. So everyone in that group got to name one of our chickens. Evening, ducks. How are you today? Hello. Thank you for the eggs. You've been doing great on the eggs, guys. And there were some great names. Juniper was the name that my aunt and her family picked out. Fred. Yes, there was Fred. We have another Fred now. Some classics like Popeye and Nugget. There was Larry Bird. I know. And then Eric's Uncle David, his pick was Little Z. And that was, it's based off of our last name, and it was just, you know, very simple, Little Z. And that was one of the Buff Orpington's names, Little Z. And I could tell her apart from like all of the other chickens. And Little Z, she was a queen. She was something else. Little Z was always on her own. She was the best like scavenger for food. So if we were out there, first one to eat the food. She's like, move over, move out of the way. I'm here, I'm ready, let's eat. And she would go off. And like where a lot of the other chickens would stay together, you know, I mean, there was definitely like a pecking order established, but Little Z didn't seem to be a part of that. She just kind of marched to the beat of her own drum. She would go off on her own to peck around and find her bugs and her treats all over. And, you know, she grew a lot more quickly than the other chickens as well. And I always laughed because I was like, okay, she's a good eater. Fits in with the family. Well, one day, Little Z just disappeared. Just gone. And there's heartbreak on the farm a lot. And you expect those things. But at that time, you know, those were really hard lessons. But here's the thing. Little Z wasn't captured. She wasn't devoured by some predator. She didn't just, you know, fly the coop. For good, anyway. Nope. We found Little Z in a bush where she was hoarding eggs. Because Little Z wanted to be a mama. You're enjoying this summer day. Summer. Oh, guys, newsflash. Don't wear white during mud season. So she was in here, hiding, making her nest. So we took her back to the coop. But she just continued to do this. She just continued to go out on her own. We'd be hunting for her, couldn't find her, just in random places, random bushes, random trees. And then finally we're like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna let her have some babies. And there was a lot of things that we were reading that were like, don't do that. Like, get an incubator, you know, you're gonna lose a lot or whatever. Several days went by and Little Z was laying on some eggs, and then I was like, are we taking her off, you know, are we gonna get these eggs, or are we gonna let her sit on them? And we decided we're just gonna let her sit on them. And so she actually sat on them in one of the nesting boxes in the coop. And a lot of times people, you know, remove chickens from the coop area to kind of lay on the eggs and to make sure everything is fine. We just let her stay there. We're gonna let nature run its course. So the days passed and I went outside to check on her, and I opened that up and I heard chirping. Hi, Little Z. You show me what you have? What do you have in there? My heart is exploding. And, my heart just beams thinking about it. That was our first, like, life grown here on the farm. You know, our first birth, if you will. These hatchlings. And I saw a couple, and then I saw another one, and I was like, wow, you know, we didn't know how many eggs were under there. I was like, I wonder if there are, like, you know, 6 or 8 chicks. And that would have been, like, just incredible. How many do you have under here, Mama? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So the next day we came out, and she was still in there. You know, the chicks were climbing on her back. We learned so much. The chicks were, like, on her back feathers. So cute. And we decided, okay, we're gonna take them out. We're gonna kind of separate them here now. And so we took them out, separated them. There were 13 chicks, 13 baby chicks. They lived. I mean, little Z, she was just a wonderful mama hen. And she raised those babies. They were integrated into the rest of the flock. And it was like the coolest, most successful thing we've ever done. And we didn't do anything. That's probably why. And she was a happy hen. Now little Z continued to kind of, like, you know, follow her own path. And she had a very, you know, long life here on the farm for a chicken. We went through predator issues, some free ranging issues, and lost a lot of chickens, and she made it through it all. We did lose little Z. It was a little over a year ago. But the thing is, like, before then, we just, that little Z just encapsulated, I mean, she was what we wanted this farm to be. She was fearless. She was nurturing. She was smart. She was hungry. She liked a good treat. She was super funny. I mean, you just didn't know what this chicken was gonna do. She was just a brave little fun chicken. This chicken, our first chicken, and the life that we've had with her, like, that's what this farm is. And so that's how we came up with Little Z Farm. And of course, you know, it also kind of represents our name, and kind of our space here, and that's where we landed. Little Z. She was an adventurous chicken that we absolutely adored, and you've seen many times Little Z3. Thank you for walking down memory lane with me today. I really enjoyed it. It's fun to think back on kind of the experiences that we've had and how far we've come, and it's fun to think about the places that we will go. Who knows where that will be? I don't, currently. I wish everyone could have that experience. I want everyone to have a little Z. I hope you want a little Z. I want everyone to see life in that way and get that opportunity. And I know that's a part of what we're trying to do. Lots of ideas rolling around in our head. And these videos are a part of that too. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell so that you get notified of whenever I post a new video. I'll see you next time.